Make the ground shake.
Come on in, gather around, get comfortable, and let me tell you the story of the Automotive Amplifier from the beginning until now. So if you want to know how the Automotive Amplifier came about, you're going to want to know about these guys. Who are these guys, you ask? Well, this is Jim Fosgate, and this is Paul Sterry. But let's start with Jim, shall we? Jim invented a thing called a frequency energizer. This lets you boost bass frequencies by 18 dB and treble frequencies by 12. Made its way into the first car amplifier, the Fosgate PR7000. This amplifier was really way ahead of its time. It had the aforementioned frequency energizer technology, and it also had RCA input, but at the time very few aftermarket radios had an RCA out, so most of these amps were hooked up by line level input. So, did I mention, this amplifier cost $300 in 1973. That is equivalent to $1,575 in today's market. So needless to say, you had to have some serious scratch to be able to pick up this amp. Now for Paul Sterry. He started a company called Audio Mobile, which showed off their SA500 amplifier at CES in 1976. Then in 1978, they introduced the 1 kilowatt Volkswagen. This was built by Rich Cole and housed 4 SA1000 amplifiers and 2 15-inch woofers, and was said to be capable of 150 decibels. Now that we have explored the beginning of the automotive amplifier, let's skip to some milestones. Fast forward to 1983, let's talk about a fellow named Steve Mance. He founded a company known as Z Audio, and he built many amplifiers for a lot of your favorite brands, including Planet Audio, Crunch, Autotech, Rodec, ESX. But the one I want to talk about now is the Hyphonics Zeus. This was the first 200 watt per channel amp and started the trend of higher power amplifiers. Let's jump to 1986 and the Hyphonics Colossus amp. This was capable of 600 watts a channel, making it the first 1000 watt plus amp. Now a short step into a very big year in car audio history, 1987. A couple things happened here. Rockford Fosgate released its 4-channel Power 1000 amp with an MSRP upwards of $2,700. The amp was capable of much more than 1000 watts it was rated at. Don't believe me? Check out this video. Okay, what else happened in 1987, you ask? Well, Orion introduced a little amp known as the 225 HCCA. The HCCA stood for High Current Competition Amplifier, and this amp almost single-handedly started the class known as cheater amps. Why were these called cheater amps? Well, at the time, car audio competition was blowing up, and most of the classes were divided up by 4-ohm stereo power rating. So instead of the typical high voltage design making, say, 100 watts by 2 at 4-ohm stereo, and 400 watts times 1 at 4-ohm mono, this amp used a high current design, making 25 watts by 2 at 4-ohm stereo, and 400 watts by 1 at 1-ohm mono. So instead of being in the class of 100 watts to 250 watts with the high voltage design, you could now use 2 of these 225s and be in the 0 to 100 watt class and have double the power. This was a game changer and spawned countless other cheaters, but I will take a much deeper dive into this category in a later video. Let's time travel and talk about a little amp known as the Earthquake PA4300. This amp was known as the world's most powerful amplifier, and at 35 pounds and 33 inches long, it was the first to be rated over 2000 watts and was capable of around 2300 watts. At this point in the 90s, it was common to hear the term $1 a watt, and was considered a bargain to get 1 watt per dollar. Now let's skip ahead to 1995 and talk about the amp that started to change the $1 a watt conversation. The Max D1250 was one of the first Class D amplifiers in car audio, and at around 7 inches by 11 inches, this tiny amp was capable of 1000 watts at 1-ohm mono and had an MSRP of $679. This was another big change to car amplifiers, because not only was this amp smaller and cheaper, but it was also much more efficient than the high current amps that were dominating the competitions of the day. And just a short jump to 1999 and we see the explosion of Class D amps. Crossfire, Memphis, Match, JBL, and many others were producing Class D amps. This really changed the landscape of car audio and is still the most dominating form of amplifier on the market today. So let's talk about 2000 to present. When Class D was first introduced, it was used mainly in sub-amplifiers due to higher distortion. These days, Class D full-range amps are abundant. The technology kept driving down the prices, and the days of $1 a watt are long gone. You can purchase a 10,000 watt amp for as little as $2,500. That's 25 cents a watt for you guys that don't like math. Only time will tell what's in store for the automotive amplifier. Until then, let me know what you think about this video and what other videos you'd like to see in the future. Like, subscribe, follow me on twitter.com/hi-fi-vega, check me out on facebook.com/hi-fi-vega. Also, check out my other videos. Now that I've said that, I'd like to thank the guy that really got me back into audio, Dereck BigDWiz. Check out his videos at youtube.com/BigDWiz. Also, check out the video description for a list of the other guys that helped me with this video.